Hit and record.
Yeah, we're live.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. I'm not recording yet. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. All right.
Hold on. Are we live?
Are we live? It says we're live.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit record here. And yo, what's up, friends? What's up, everybody? What's up?
What's up?
What's up, Denny's?
What the fuck is up, time
Denny's?
to tear this Denny's up?
Yeah. We're gonna thrash core this Denny's. All right, everybody, welcome back. Man, it's been so long.
I know we haven't been in the studio in a while.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you cleaned up though.
I didn't.
I know it was a joke.
It's a graveyard of
sarcasm on that one.
I had such like high hopes for today. I was like, I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna take all these pictures of the cans. I'm gonna get the studio prepped. And then I got home at like 6:30, and I was like, man, I have so much to do.
I'm not doing a single thing.
Yeah, I was like, I have to shower and all this jazz.
Well, I'm glad it looks and smells like a college dormitory in here.
Well, I mean, as it should.
It's really taking me back, really bringing me back to my youth.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the greatest podcast to exist in the history of podcasts. I am your host, the crispiest of boys, the king of the butt rock.
Click, click, boom!
Tom.
Nice. Your other host here, the master of malt, the Royersford Rattlesnake. Play my music. I almost was like, throw me a can of beer. I like went up for it.
It's never ready.
It's never there.
Nope.
It's Dan.
Yeah, there we go. All right, everybody. And welcome back. I mean, you didn't get a taste of this last week, so I mean, we really got to come back strong, right?
Got to come back strong with the butt rock. If you're the king, you have to assume your throne here.
Yeah.
So man,
heavy lies the crown, Dan.
Heavy lies the crown.
Yeah.
So have you reached a new peak?
I think so. You're going to be the judge of this one.
Okay.
All right, everybody, and we are the best friends podcast in the world. Check out this song.
Check out this song.
Song.
The height of butt rock.
Yes. Is the butt rock shining down on you, Dan?
I'm getting a butt rock sunburn right now from Shine Down.
This is my off of my brewery hit list.
I think I heard this at a local brewery that likes to play butt rock.
We learned from Mike Locke that most breweries will play butt rock because it's like it's a nice cozy.
Are you saying butt rock's like the hazy IPA of craft beer or of like craft beer music, like brewery music?
I would say it would be like the stout of brewery music. You know, it's like that. It makes you nice and cozy drinking it.
I would say it's like the hazy. It's like everybody likes it. It's a universally liked. Yeah.
Are hazies universally liked
by people who like butt rock?
There's no beer that is universally liked. I mean, let's face it, folks. There's always going to be some kind of animosity towards a beer.
All right,
everybody, welcome back.
Let's get our guest on in a little bit, but first, let's do some housekeeping.
Sure,
guys. Follow, rate. It's follow again, right?
Yep.
Follow, rate, and review on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What are the other ones? We're on Amazon.
Yeah, we're on Amazon.
We're on Amazon now.
Hey, Alexa, play the best friends podcast in the world.
I guess Anchor Podcast, even though they don't.
Well, Anchor's they're owned by Spotify.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Spotify, the major ones. It's in our banner.
Yep. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Oh, no. We're all.
so bad. We're so bad at this.
Oh, yeah. We're all. And then I'm going to do a little swippy swappy here so we can, when we look at each other, there we go. Forgot about that. A little flippy floppy there.
Oh, nice. So when I look over here, I'm looking at you instead of looking over there.
Are we still partnering with Bird and Pig?
I think they're still our corporate overlords.
Yes.
Hey, they liked a couple of our things. But actually, I want to talk about, since we are part of the Hopped Up Network, because I met the Hopped Up Network at the Beer Fest.
Oh, did you know?
Yeah, well, one of them. Awesome dude. I guess I didn't know there were more than one, but Met the guy at the beer fest for local. So we are part of the Hopped Up Network, which is an ever-growing group of independent beer podcasts. Check out all the other podcasts in the network at hoppedupnetwork.com.
All right, and we're partnered with their leading voice in PA breweries. They got maps and stuff.
Yeah, you can check out their website. It's brewersinpa.com, or just ask people in the Brewers in PA group. What breweries are in their local area, because then you'll get the map.
Yeah, and definitely bring up Milko Pours.
Yeah,
for sure.
Bring up Milko Pours.
Yeah,
follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Breweries in PA.
Yeah. All right, man, Dan. So we had an interesting week last week.
We did. Yeah. I mean,
you flew solo at the beer festival.
Sometimes you just gotta let the little birdie out of the nest.
Yeah.
I didn't crash and burn.
No. I thought it went well. I sat here and recorded.
You went Bill Burr style.
Oh, dude, it sucked.
Oh,
it was at the end. I was like, this is my punishment. This is what I get for not being able to be a part of the. This is what I get. I deserve this,
dude. The taking down and setting up of all of that. Plus, I set up the PA system for them too, and oh man, I just wish you were there for the banter, but also for taking down and backing up everything too, because it was just exhausting. All I had was Harry, and we all know how little Harry is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our mixing board weighs more than Harry.
I know. I was like, poor guy's trying to help me, and I'm like, oh man,
where's this go, Dan?
Oh man, we gotta get Harry drops on the.
We really should. Like Jacob drops.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. How about we bring our guest on and
I'm pitching the East.
We get our first guest on. We'll start talking about some beer.
All right. So tonight we are going to be joined by the director of sales from Flying Fish Brewing Company. Is it Flying Fish Brewing Company?
Yeah. We're going across the Delaware.
I never
We're
know.
Going back to the Dirty Jersey.
What a brewery, if it's a brewing company, brewery,
brew house, brew.
Yeah.
Brew Works. We had a Brew Works.
Brew Works. Brewing collaborative. I never know. Anyway, from across the pond, as it were, or the river.
Across the old Delaware. George Washington, just Christmas Day, we're just going across.
Yep. Just slaughtering a bunch of sleeping British.
So bad. All right, guys. Yeah,
your tents will run red with your blood.
Jesus Christ. All right. So we've got Kirk here from Flying Fish Brewing Company. Hey, Kirk, how's it going, man?
We got Kirk.
Hey, what's happening?
All right, let's do a little switch. So you're the main focus.
He's the main focus there. Now we got him.
All right. Thank you for coming on with us. We look forward to talking about Flying Fish Brewing.
I know.
I appreciate it. And it was the Hessians. It wasn't so many British. It was German Hessian soldiers in Trenton.
Huh. Well,
okay.
Now we learned something new on the podcast. All right,
nice.
Everybody. Well, that was
Dirty
Best
Jersey.
Friends podcast episode 87.
We're out. Those Dirty Jersey Hessians, man.
Hey, Trenton makes and we take. That's the old slogan up there.
Oh man!
All right, it's on the side of their bridge.
It is.
Yeah, it says Trenton. It says Trenton. We make, the world takes.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's kind of selfish. I don't know.
That's a weird.
Yeah, it's like a pity party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird slogan for a town to have.
Yeah, really is.
It's like the
You're welcome, America.
All right.
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to think if they did like a massive amount of manufacturing there, but I really legitimately have no idea what they're making discernibly up there.
I think it's
that everybody wants.
I think it's because nobody ever wants to just drive into Trenton to discover whatever happened in Trenton. So every time we see that sign, we're like, oh no.
Trenton's not that bad.
Really?
No, but like, how many times do you just like go to Trenton and hang out there?
Never.
Not as many times.
I go there. I have a couple clients up in Trenton, but that's about the amount of time that I spend up there.
Just a long, exasperated exhale when you're like, yeah, you have to go to Trenton today. You're like, all right.
I actually really like their ballpark, the Trenton Thunder.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a nice area. right when you get off Route 1 there, you go over the bridge. That's where the bridge is. That's where the Trenton makes and the world takes.
Yeah, it's probably
Sign
because I've never gone over that bridge.
It's also a free bridge.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll take that to go into Yardley. That's a good way to go.
It's the only bridge that doesn't charge you to get out of that godforsaken state. All right. So we did get our first chat in here.
Yeah,
from Scott Farkas
from Farkas Farm.
Yeah. No, Ryan, I'm not on Burger King Wi-Fi anymore.
No, we're moving on up.
Yeah, I've gone to the middle class section of the Xfinity Wi-Fi.
Starbucks.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to be drinking Flying Fish beer. We're going to be starting off with a beer it's kind of a sore subject.
I know, right? It was going to be kind of like a coin toss if this was going to be like a really great, like, yeah, we're going to bring in this name. And now it's like, all right, guys, we're going to start with Go Birds.
Dan's going to throw me a beer. It's going to land short. It's just, yeah. All right. Well,
do you got that sad music? So, guys, we have Flying Fishes. Go Birds. Go Birds. After last night.
Go Birds.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Real sad Go Birds there.
Yeah. I don't know where they went, but they definitely weren't there.
No. You know where they went? They went to school. Courtesy of the Dallas Cowgirls.
Yeah. We'll crack this and we'll get into
let's drink our sorrows away. Boys.
Drink our sorrows away. So
we're gonna be drinking.
We're going to be drinking the Go Birds. So, guys, this is a hazy, juicy pale ale. Evokes hints of citrus and mango. Perfect for the professional I love the description of this because there had to be some dancing around the Go Birds here. Perfect for the professional ornithologist or casual birder alike. Keep your eyes to the skies and raise a can to our favorite birds.
All right.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, so I can give you backstory to a lot of that too, but let's crack this thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yep, and we'll get into that.
6% alcohol by volume. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Thanks for playing along, Kirk.
I want to be a part of the best friends. It might be best friends by the end of this.
You know what, Tom? You know what we haven't done in a while?
What have we not done?
Decided if our guests are best friends of the podcast.
Have we not?
I don't think so. Or we've had so many returning people that we just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you know what? That's I think that's a big.
So look at Kirk. He's already trying to win us over here.
All
right, guys.
Sláinte.
Cheers.
All right, let's get into this. So, Dan, you did some research.
I did a little. I drank a little research last night on this.
Yeah.
So, so I went and picked it up. Had to have a little bit with my birds last night.
Yeah. All right. So give us a little bit of the backstory here with the so for this beer for bird watchers.
Yeah. So So first up, we wanted to make something that was light, drinkable, obviously something that you would enjoy while watching birds. And hazy pale seemed right up that alley. So that's where we came up with a slightly lower ABV at 6%. The hop on there, to me, that's more dominant flavor-wise is the lemon drop. Like I do get a lot of lemon and lemon peel and citrusy notes, but it's not tart or anything. It just has that citrusy vibe. And there's no fruit in the beer. It's all denoted from the hops. But the fun part is, so I'm not really original, but I was the first person to name a beer Go Birds, like literally just grabbing something that's colloquially or in this area everybody says, but is not. First of all, it's not trademarked, and second of all, it's tacitly, loosely implied. It's not that Dallas Sucks was a bad name or a bad beer, but it was in conjunction with Jose Pistolas, which I think a lot of people were confused as to why there was the cow skull on it on that label. But Jose Pistolas is a restaurant and it's a Mexican restaurant. And so that was like the origin of these like loose Eagles beers. And that was a Weyerbacher brand. And I was like, nobody's done a Go Birds. This is insane. So we actually had a different label. This is actually a new label, the one that you guys have right now in the can. But there was a previous one that had more of the colors of the team, but even before that, there was another one that we put it on social, and within 20 minutes, we had a cease and desist from the NFL. So, but they only had problems with the look of the eagle that was on there. So, we made a switch and used our logo instead for the first 2 years, and then we revamped it and updated the flavor profile. But we got banged really quick on the name, but we still were able to retain the name. It's just so that's not even like the OG one. I don't think I can share on here, but if you type in, let me just see if I go onto Google and type in "Go Birds Flying Fish."
Yeah,
this
was
original label. The original label shows up if you go on a Google search. It's the third image.
Okay, yeah, I can share it up then.
So yeah, I guess the NFL just has somebody like sitting there hitting like F5, just like come on. Something comes up, it's like
I think I think
CD.
what happens is anytime something new comes out that's interesting, that's involving a brand, somebody sees it, somebody shares it, and then that whisper down the lane happens very quickly with social. We're not like a huge account, or we don't have millions of followers where we would just have somebody looking at us all the time. But somebody shared it to their social, and then boom, 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 and just kind of went down the line. But it's probably because our eagle head was very similar to.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Yeah, so we were. Yeah,
we got hit pretty quick on that.
That'll get you a quick. That'll get you a nice C&D.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So then after this, you went to the one that we shared before, which was you guys putting kind of the Flying Fish logo into it versus having the eagle.
Yeah, we wanted to just make the brand so that we showed that we actually made it with our name, so that we could have as an actual brand and a product before anybody else. And then it's funny, after ours came out, there was a billion spinoffs. One of my favorite ones is Bird Watcher from Double Nickel. I don't know if you saw that one, but that one made me laugh because I just was like, Bird Watcher, like that's where we're at. But
for the professional ornithologist.
Yeah. Well, originally, so get this, I was going real crazy to try to make this thing legal. I was trying to pair up with the Wissahickon Creek Foundation, and you go, what's the Wissahickon Creek Foundation? Well, they're basically the guys who maintain all of the trails in that park, but a lot of people don't know that that's one of the largest watersheds in the area, and it also just happens to be the largest stopover spot for migratory birds in the Northeast. So I was trying to do a charitable donation with the brand, with the Wissahickon Creek Foundation, and do like a trail cleanup and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
because they're legit. It could be for birds, and I'm not trying to bash them, but they had a ridiculous price tag on just to use their name. And I was like, I was trying to just give you guys free cash.
Yeah, you're doing charity.
But you're trying to like charge me and then get free cash. Now it's funny, like that one, no problem, right? No,
they didn't get a cease and desist for that?
No.
They have almost every single shade of green that the Eagles ever wore.
Yeah, it's like a whole green palette.
I was going to say, if you throw Kelly Green on there, that's the 90s Eagles logo.
Yeah.
How about that? Well, I guess you guys just have more eyes on you.
Maybe not. I don't know. I just think it got shared to a point, but there's so many brands that I guess it's like one of the stickler things is everybody does parodies, and sometimes like these parodies are just straight up rips of the intellectual property, and everyone gets so excited because you see your favorite cereal brand on a beer label and you're like, oh my gosh, this beer is going to taste exactly like the cereal. Now, mind you, General Mills or Kellogg's or whoever spent all this time curating all these great emotions and passions behind their brands. And then a brewery just scoops their brand and label, slaps it on theirs, tweaks it slightly, calls it a funny, quirky hop pun name with the cereal, and it doesn't even taste like the cereal. So like, I don't know. That bums me out too much.
It's funny that you say that, because I had somebody send me I don't know if they sent it directly to me or if it was to our Instagram, but it was like the Kit Kat label. And some brewery did like a Kit Kat beer, and it was literally they just changed the word Kit Kat to whatever the name of the beer was, and they're like, dude, they're not even trying anymore. Like it's just like that. And there's definitely, I know there's a brewery in New Jersey whose logo might be a bull that did a cereal based
they've done
beer.
like Fruity Pebbles,
and it's like, and it's
like
just
that.
like not even trying. They're just ripping
it's legit Fruity Pebbles. It's like the same font too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, dude, honestly, I'm okay with taking inspiration from things and utilizing it. Here's where my gripe comes in: when the beer doesn't taste like what it's promoting. And that's like an overarching problem I have with the beer industry in general, is that like, if you're going to say something tastes like something, it has to be like, get there a little bit, like get 50% there, not like 5% because you put a spice in or a whatever in, you know, like we
put 5 tons of Fruity Pebbles in the mash, but little did we know Fruity Pebbles don't really emit any flavor. So,
the problem with Fruity Pebbles is all the flavor is coming probably dominantly from natural flavoring. So it's using extract fruits anyway. And the base cereal is like a puffed rice. So rice adds nothing but crispness to beer. It doesn't really add like a body or a texture or even really like a flavor to it. It just like kind of pumps up ABV a little bit with not a lot of flavor added.
You get some off flavors too, like sulfur and stuff like that from rice too. So it's like, that's something, it's got to be tricky to use that.
Yeah. It's like you'd think. The one thing that's great about beer, and this is it's awesome, is that it's very recipe driven, and you can add in things that are not Reinheitsgebot like ingredients. You can throw in fruit purees, you could throw in marshmallows, you can do whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Like, where wine is very strict and it's pretty much just the grapes, the skins, the yeast, and that's about it. And then what container you're fermenting in, whether that's a wood or that's stainless or whatever, right? Beer has that just like amazing ability to be able to add any kind of like unique flavors. And that's why I just get like so bummed out when something is supposed to taste like a Little Debbie's oatmeal cream pie, and then you eat it and it tastes like a winter warmer, and you're like, bro, that's not even close to what those taste like. I would eat a sleeve of those, like that whole box, that $1.99 down the gullet in one spin. That does not taste like that.
I guess it's nice with beer. You can be like, oh, you guys like fried ice cream? Well, here it is in the stout.
Yeah. Well, we did that with our fried ice cream. You know, that was the
I think that was Tom's way.
That's what I was.
Yeah. He was. So that beer started out as we were at a pool party at one of our brewers' houses, and they make this great Russian Imperial Stout, 10.3%. It's awesome. It's won medals at GABF, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's award-winning somewhere. Maybe it's not GABF. And they were really stoked to make it again. And I had just come on board. This was in 2018. And they were really stoked. And they're like, we're going to make this great Russian Imperial Stout for the wintertime. And I was like, well, it's not going to sell. And like the brewers were really confused by that. I said, it's just not marketable. Like, nobody wants to drink Russian Imperial Stout. It's like the day of Old Rasputin being the most amazing beer in the world has really come to pass. Like, people want flavors. And I know it's not like great.
Not this time.
Brewers like to make beer, right? They don't really like to make like flavored beer. And but pastry stouts are where it's at. So we came out with like a Sunday stout, and then it ended up turning into fried ice cream, because we found out at the World's Fair, I think it was in Chicago or maybe it was in New York, ice cream gets unveiled. And then the year later, both synonymously in Japan and in Philadelphia, they both figured it out at the exact same time to fry ice cream. No joke.
Go Philly. Just, we're going to fry it.
So like ice cream gets made, and the following year, the Japanese and Philadelphians decide to.
Philadelphia, how can we make it work for you?
Yeah, Philadelphia. Yo, you made something? How can we make it fat?
Yeah.
Yep. Which was just like kind of a happy accident to be able to make that. And we were putting ice cream into the stout, which is really complicated when it comes to the TTB. Because there's a list of approved ingredients, and then there is everything else is you have to get individual approval. So the more unique the ingredient, the more challenging it is to get the beer legitimately approved.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So there's probably a lot of illegal beer out there too.
There's some underground beer, all those beer mules and their giant exploding sour cans and everything.
Well, I'm pretty sure when you start adding in a lot of things with a ton of additives and chemicals, it gets really wonky, you know?
Yeah. I think there's a brewery around us that does that.
Well, I guess going back to ingredients here, if we want to go over kind of like Go Birds here, you guys have a really nice website to go to. Anybody watching this, check out flyingfish.com. You guys kind of list everything that goes into your beers and everything here. So we're looking at the malts here for this. You've got like a Pilsner wheat, looks like oat malt and flaked oats there. So there is a really nice, pleasant, like softer mouthfeel with this being a hazy pale and everything because of the addition of the malts there. You did mention lemon drop being like this really citrus, like, heavy, like hop addition to, I would say any beer. If lemon drop's being used, it stays out there a lot, and it's good to have other hops in there to kind of tame that down too, because like you said, it doesn't get overly like tart or anything. When you start adding some other like ones like Citra, you start getting a little bit more like of a bitter citrus with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. That's and like most hops too, you don't want to be dependent and rely on your flavor profile to be just one thing, because if there's ever a crop shortage or whatever, this is kind of like back end recipe creation. You always want to have the access and ability to utilize and substitute hops when it comes in there. But lemon drop is definitely the more dominant flavor in there, and then it gets pumped and balanced by Huel melon and Citra. The one thing to note on here with malt, and this is not common with most breweries, is that Flying Fish does not use 2-row or 6-row as our base malts. We only use Pilsner malt. And I know that's really strange because we're not like a German brewery, but we started out making mainly English, slightly German, and some Belgian style beers. And at the time, we actually got a really good malt contract with Pilsner malt. So we were getting it for a reduced rate, even lower than 2-row. But we were just buying it in such a massive scale that you got to remember, like when we started in 1996, you like couldn't start on a pot. Like that just didn't happen. Like people didn't have nano breweries. Microbreweries was a name, and most people just made it synonymous with, there was Budweiser and then there was microbreweries. Because there was like no in between.
Budweiser. Oh, okay, Budweiser.
Right. So Bud Heavy and then these really, really small guys. And system wise, like meaning like brewing system, you couldn't find anything less than like 15 barrels. And that was mainly for brew pubs. So, looking at now, you can get 7-barrel, you can get 1-barrel, you can get half-barrel brew houses, which is crazy. It's just like you're a slave to your equipment because you never can keep up with capacity demands. If anybody's thinking about opening a brewery, minimum 7 barrels. Otherwise, you'll just literally be scrubbing pots and brewing.
Yeah, like we have a friend thinking about opening up a brewery. So there you go, Harry. Listen to that.
Yeah. The other thing too is there's a lot of breweries that closed due to COVID. So go on to, I forget what the website is. It's not BevForce. That's the one for jobs. There's another one on there. It's like basically the Craigslist for breweries and brewers, and they all list equipment on there. It's a great place to find cheap and expensive equipment. You'll have to travel or get it shipped, but it's way cheaper than buying it new. And all that stuff is really kind of backdated because of manufacturing both in China and abroad has been really challenging with stainless. So
it's like Burlington Keg Factory.
Yeah.
Jokes.
All right, so let's talk about this beer a little bit.
Let's go back to it. Yeah, since we've been crushing it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Good head retention on it.
There it is.
It's got solid lacing.
There it is.
Good mouthfeel.
Oh yeah, just hitting all Tom's notes right there.
Good mouthfeel. It's got a nice little bit of a crisp bite to it. I agree. The lemon drop is definitely dominant. It works well with the Citra. and kind of evened out with the Huel melon.
Huel melon.
Easy drinker. I mean, it's technically a hazy. It's definitely got a good color to it. Not that haze really matters in the grand scheme of things, but
it does because the perception is reality. So like the look of a beer is as important as the taste. But I'd also say that
at this point, yes, but
I would say, yeah, like clear beers too. Like overall, Pilsner looks clear, crystal clear. People are
the haze in a hazy IPA doesn't add anything more than visual.
It depends on how you produce the haze. So, like for example,
if you're throwing lactose and shit in there, yes, the haze is going to
So lactase right there. There's plenty of those milk sugar IPAs, and you have that sweetness, that residual sweetness, which allows you to add more hops in if you want. I think it's a waste of money, but you could, if you really wanted to go that way. You could use London Fog, which doesn't attenuate as well, which means that it leaves more yeast in suspension. That's another way you can go. You can not crash your beer or not filter your beer. Don't run it through a centrifuge. When you do those kind of things, if you have any residual sugars, you better have a very, very low final gravity. Otherwise, you can get exploding cans, which we've all known, seen, dealt with, heard of, all that kind of stuff. And then to me, there's places that have like a very signature style and texture. Like somebody like an Other Half, they no joke use, and Dancing Gnome out in Pittsburgh, they both use oat milk, like straight up oat milk in their recipes, and that's what lends to a stabilized haze, but also has like kind of like a protein mouthfeel flavor to it.
Oh, okay.
Like a softness.
Yeah, I can definitely, after having some Other Half, kind of think about that. And I've had like one Dancing Gnome in the past that, yeah, they do have like almost like a signature mouthfeel to their beers that you don't really get anywhere else.
Right. And Tired Hands, they actually use flour in their beer. So, which is kind of interesting that they would use, I forget what kind of flour. I remember at one point, Jean had mentioned something on some website where people had captured it and recreated recipes from it. But yeah, they straight up put flour in their beer. So yeah, there's many different ways to make a haze boy.
Well, my point is something like Go Birds. If you ran that through the centrifuge and put this out as a clear beer, not really going to be too much of a flavor difference.
No, and honestly, Flying Fish, we're getting better at it, but the way our system is made, it's a German Braucon system. It's made to make. All right, that's not. I was going to say it's made to make good beer. It's made to make shelf-stable, positive beer that is more Germanic in the style, right? So, like, unless you're using yeast, particularly like a Hefeweizen yeast or something like that, where it leaves in suspension, it really has to happen for us post-fermentation, right? It really doesn't happen. The haze process doesn't happen usually on the ingredient or hot side of brewing. It usually happens on the cold side for us.
What's with these Germans always trying to make things pure?
Oh, Jesus.
That I'm going to skip. I'm just going
to. All right. So I think this is, for me, really enjoyable. I'm not a huge IPA guy. Coming back around a little bit.
Yeah, you've been coming back around.
Easy drinker, 6%. Not gonna kill you. You can have a couple of these while you may or may not watch
while crying to an Eagles game. Oh, sorry.
Football game, or maybe you're
casual bird watching.
Maybe you're out on the Schuylkill watching some birds.
Yeah,
they're not real birds. They're on power lines. They're drones, and it's the government.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real. It's whole COVID isn't real.
Tom, we have a believer.
It was all an excuse to swap out the batteries in the birds. Without
this is where I took out of the podcast.
Wait, is that true? Is that a legitimate conspiracy theory added on to the birds aren't real thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. COVID was a massive government undertaking to get us and lock. That was the whole point of lockdown. 2-week lockdown. They said to change all the batteries in the birds. 2 weeks. We need 2 weeks. So they locked it down for 2 weeks so we wouldn't notice that all the birds were gone. So, and I believe that's what they changed them to, was like a wireless charging battery.
Oh, like a while. Oh, like
Yeah.
so they're like Qi charging now.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so Nests are like I can put my phone up there and maybe charge it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
100%.
got it.
Yeah. If you stand out in a field with a Qi charger, a bird will land on it.
See, don't you see this? Like thermostats are Nests. Like it's all congruent.
connected.
This is where I respectfully bow out of the podcast.
Dan,
and
follow
Tom's conspiracy theory podcast starts. I just
follow the paper trail, Dan.
I never heard the COVID one. That is wild. I mean, the whole thing's wild, but that's just more interesting.
I don't even know how to like bring this beer back into our discussion.
You don't, dude. You just open the next one and let's move on.
I wish I could tell you that I could count the amount of times that we've talked about birds aren't real on this podcast on one hand. But I can't.
I just keep dropping my head every time. I'm like, God damn it.
Well, so hang on. Let's circle back. I'll bring us back. I'll bring us all back in. Right. So you had mentioned that not a big fan of IPAs or bitterness, right? I think IPAs.
I'm going to stop you. I'm a fan of bitterness.
Okay.
I'm a fan of West Coast IPAs.
Yeah, as of the last like year or two, he's gotten into it.
I'm swinging
with
back
with the podcast. He's starting to get into like West Coast bitter IPA. Since like 10 years ago, I was gonna say almost 15 years ago, I've been trying to get this guy to drink IPAs, like just shoving them into his face. And I finally, within the last couple of years, got him to like start enjoying various types, whether it be West Coast or hazy.
Most of my 20s was Dan's going, drink the cat piss. You drink the cat piss.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can totally understand how it can be challenging to get into those flavors and styles. And it's actually interesting that West Coast is more your thing, because I think they're more abrasive and they're more challenging to really, for a new drinker to that style, appreciate. And you have to like barrel through a bunch until you find the ones that you really truly like, or flavor wise, where the new school IPAs, there's almost no bitterness. You know, everything is late additions. You're talking about 15 minutes or flame out only or whirlpool only hops, where it's just straight up trying to retain as many resins and oils for flavor and aroma and very little bittering, which is fine that people want to drink juice. You know, like we don't control what the market wants. We just have to deliver what the market needs.
Right.
But, I don't know, dude. I remember when I first started getting into beer, the arms race for hops. You know, there was a beer by Keller. It was called 1001 IBUs. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, I gotta drink this. This thing will wreck my face. And honestly, it was Keller. And that one was actually gypsy brewed in Europe. So by the time it even got to us, it was so toned down. I've had some, I've had some, I think Palate Wrecker might have been one that was super, super hot and hoppy. I forget if that was Green Flash, and then Captain Lawrence had another one called Seeking Alpha, and that was like a triple IPA that would just blast you with hops, you know, way over 100 IBUs.
Yeah, after 100, you can't even taste the difference, really.
Yeah, the threshold's hit. Like it's just you're just for fun.
You're just maxed out, and it's funny that you call it like the arms race, because I always call it the IBU wars.
Yeah,
I'm always like it was like that race to see who can make like the most bitter IPA. Like they just. How bad could we like destroy your palate for the next beer that you're gonna have?
Yeah. I think the one of the challenges right now for a lot of breweries is commoditization. And what I mean is, like, what is the texture of your brand versus what is the texture of like the flavors of your beers? So like, are they synonymous, or can somebody just replace you with the next thing? And I think, you know, if you make a really great one IPA, you can just keep on changing that base and changing it with hops, and everyone's none the wiser. And you slap another label on it, and it tastes like your beer. It has that style. You're not going to disappoint or offend, because you're making what people have already really liked and was synonymous with your brand. But like, there's no brand there. It's just that one style. So I think it's hard for breweries right now. You know, you get caught in this like hazy, or get caught in this pastry, and you're just stuck in this wedge.
I think that was a big problem in the in the midst of the pandemic was when things really like kicked up with the haze craze, and it was like breweries were getting their base and they were like, well, let's just change up the hops. It was like, we have our base. All right, we're doing Citra Mosaic. All right, now we're doing Mosaic and Simcoe. Now we're doing we're doing New Zealand hops. It was just
supply and kind of
every week that you saw a brewery putting out different IPAs every week, and it's like, well, there has to be something behind this. And it was they got
not really
base
recipes. It's not that fancy,
right?
I mean, like, you can't be that creative.
Just gotta,
every single time.
You got to keep the lights on. That's what they were doing. Breweries before the pandemic that had releases, it became like every brewery had to have a release during the pandemic because that's all you could do.
Right.
So you had all of these like breweries that were already well established with like, hey, dropping Friday, get in line. Like you said, you mentioned Tired Hands. There was, Levante was like that at one point too. Where people just got in line for those beers. And now you have the pandemic hit and people are just getting in very socially distant lines at every brewery now because that became the name of the game. And to keep the lights going, you had to have hype beers. You had to have a reason to get people in line. And like IPAs started just taking off because they were universally liked, not by just beer drinkers, but by people who were just getting into craft beer because maybe they were, hey, I had a sourdough starter during the pandemic. I'm going to get into craft beer while I'm at it too. And, IPAs are, hazy IPAs are easy. Like you said, low bitterness. It's kind of like a gateway beer for people.
Yeah, I think they're much more approachable now. And yeah, the pandemic changed a lot. I mean, people had to change their business models completely. If you were a draft only brand, that was doing weekly releases, and now you have to somehow manage either A, installing a canning line, B, setting up a mobile. I mean, that is challenging. And God bless anybody who was able to weather the storm because it was not easy for a lot of brands. It wasn't easy for us either, but a lot of positive changes that were forced upon us that we should have probably done inwardly as a brewery were forced to do and upgrade, which is great. I think, honestly, innovation out of tough times always is a positive thing.
Yeah. All right. You want to get in a second? I saw you lean away and it didn't do anything, Dan.
I know. I tried to. I'm so sorry. Did you get that?
Yep. Oh no, I'm living in it right now.
Yeah. I had some Mexican food. I'm really sorry. Hey, speaking of that, let's get into Hazy Bones.
All right. Yeah.
You want another fun fact about why you burp so much when you're drinking beer, besides it being CO2?
Go on.
All right, ready? This is a real nerdy fact. The colder your beer is, the more likely you are to burp because CO2 stays in solution based on temperature. So the warmer your beer is, the more CO2 has come out of solution. So like when you crack the top, more CO2 will get released. So if your beer is really, really cold, it's still in the liquid. And when it hits your stomach, that's when it warms up and releases all the CO2.
I thought
not like you should be drinking warm beer, but
like, oh, it's bubbly, so it's making me burp.
I just thought it was hitting that like half a burrito I had before I came here, and it's just the like Clash of the Titans inside my stomach right now.
Jason and the Argonauts.
All right.
I forget. Well, have you ever had like a really, really cold draft of beer and there's like no head on and you're like, all right, something is off here. I don't know what this is. And then you start drinking it and then the head starts forming and you're like, what is, and it's just like if their glycol's off at the place that you're in and it's like way too cold. I've gotten ice chips in beer before at places.
That happened before.
I've had the ice chips. I haven't had like the head come back, but I've had it to the point where like it was so cold drinking it that like after a couple sips, I was just standing and just burping, just, but like not like vocal ones, just like, just
like a cat.
I'm just like, what's happening right now? I'm like, just
That's
passing
funny.
through. But let's get to. I guess we're gonna keep it hazy for this episode. we're going to go into Hazy Bones, which is a hazy IPA here from Flying Fish. Guys, and I forgot to mention it on the first beer, but guys, if you want to follow our list of beers that we feature, I am getting really close to getting us caught up. It's tough. I'm trying to get the Untapped caught up, but I'm almost there.
What's that, Dan?
Oh yeah, you can follow us on Untapped. Yes, Untapped.
It's a cesspool of craft beer.
But yeah, follow us on Untapped. It's Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD.
Have you guys followed? Hang on, I gotta figure these guys out. Have you guys followed? There's an Untapped.
WTF?
Is it that one?
Yep, we've had him on the podcast.
Yeah, we actually had him on. He's an awesome dude.
So funny, dude. I don't know where he. I mean, people must at this point just like send him stuff.
Oh, yeah,
but it's so funny.
We're a big proponent of that.
Yeah, we slide stuff into his DMs all the time.
Yeah, no, he he doesn't have to search anything anymore. It's just
people just send him stuff.
Yeah. And then
it's like there's another good one that's it's called Beer Rep Diaries.
Oh.
And it's for people who are in the industry. It's awesome.
It's kind of like Wort Wrangler, which is like for like the brewer side.
For the brewers, yeah. The Wort Wrangler is a funny one too, yeah.
I've been feeling the Haze Boys.
Yeah, Haze Boys. Yeah, they're doing the Lord's work right now. Yeah. Those guys are hilarious.
Are they more meme based or what?
Oh yeah, real meme based.
Oh yeah.
They just did a Pac-Man. They did a Pac-Man based meme where it was just Untapped Man. And it was a neckbeard being chased around by all the hype beers.
And a gentleman with beaties.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So good.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to go into Hazy Bones, which is from the tasting notes you guys have on the website here. Sniff the hints of pineapple and mango. And if you're so inclined, sip the tropical hot party. Repeat in due time. So we've got this is going to be a good one. Let's crack this.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Right.
So this beer features the buddy cop drama that we always talk about, which is Citra Mosaic, the Riggs and Murtaugh of hazy IPAs.
It's the one you always want to see.
Yeah,
it's the Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker of
the failure to launch.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. Dan.
Cheers, man. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
You've been drinking Hazy Bones the whole time while we've been here.
I have been. I've been cheating. Yeah. You know what's funny is I actually don't drink any of these beers that frequently. I drink pretty much exclusively session sour. Just so crushable and just really refreshing. But Hazy Bones is our #1 best-selling beer.
Really?
We launched it.
Not really that surprising.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody who thinks about Flying Fish, they think about like, dude, you've been around forever. You guys don't really innovate as much, and like we're trying to break out of that mold. And we weren't even in cans, full lineup until 2018. So when I started there is when we bought a canning line, and installed it. Was like that week we were installing the canning line is when I started. It was crazy, and so for us. Obviously, making something that was hazy is important. We were relatively at the forefront of writing hazy in the name of the beer, which is so silly, but synonymous, as we said, of success and what people are looking for, thinking of. It's a great price point, and it's just really approachable IPA. And Sugar Skulls people love them, and it's really sharp marketing on the shelf. So Hazy Bones just smoked it. It was actually the best-selling new beer of 2020 in all of Dirty Jers. So take that as what it is.
Dirty Jers.
There you go.
I saw actually my first time seeing Hazy Bones was at the Philadelphia Zoo. They have it available as one of the can options when you go to the little cantina. My wife.
It was hard to break in there. I actually had to get into the Adventure Aquarium first, which is in New Jersey, over in Camden.
It's the only thing you can go to in Camden.
They have a partnership with Aramark, because it's all Aramark run, and that's how we got into to what do you call it? Into the zoo. What were you saying, dude? You were ripping on Camden. You don't like Camden?
Yeah, no. Stay on two roads. You get off. You go over to Ben Franklin, and is it Ben Franklin or Walt Whitman?
It's Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin. All right. So you go to Ben Franklin right when you get through the
your Delco showing right.
Yeah,
there.
Right when you get through the toll booth, you bear right. You make a right on Martin Luther King. You go right all the way down. You make a left, and then you're at the aquarium. Those are the only two roads you ever need to stay on.
You know what? I had a lot of fun at Campbell's when I was a kid. Is that still there? Campbell's Stadium?
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's all in that waterfront area.
Yeah.
If you get out of that waterfront area, no bueno.
I went to a McDonald's out there one time. It was okay. I actually walked through a drive-through after like a concert. It was like they always had the concerts down there at what bank owns that place
Tweeter
right
Center.
now?
It's always
always Tweeter for me.
Yeah, it's always going to be Tweeter for me, but I'm like, what bank owns it now? Like, what is it? Is it
Susquehanna Bank?
Is it Susquehanna or Wisfis Center or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea what it is, but I remember leaving a concert one time. There was a McDonald's, and I just kind of walked through the drive-thru. I was like, "Can I have a quarter pounder?" And I just kept walking. I get up there. She's like, "Oh, you're not in a car." I'm like, "No." It was like before cameras.
I'll tell you. Quick story. My very first route sales job, I worked at a beer distributor. They were called Kramer Beverage. Coincidentally, they sell a lot of beer in South Jersey. It's almost like 70% of all beer sold goes through Kramer Beverage. They've got all the big guys. They got Miller Lite. They've got Coors Light. They've got Yuengling, Sam Adams, Corona.
Budweiser.
Everybody. They don't have Budweiser. But my route for 2.5 days was in Camden, and the rule was get out of the Martin Luther King area of Camden by like noon, and you were totally fine, no problems.
I think that's pretty much any city.
Yeah, true. But if you went to the other side, which I forget what they called that area, but it was like the more Hispanic section. It was very friendly, very nice. I felt perfectly safe there on Friday. I'd have to deliver beer sometimes like Corona or Modelo late on a Friday, and I never, ever had problems there. It got like a really bad rap. Not like Camden is the safest place, but it definitely got better when they added the new policing in there as well. But I never felt – there was 2 times where I felt unsafe where a guy pulled a gun, but it wasn't on me, and so it was like whatever. You just get used to that stuff.
You're just the beer guy. Like, who's gonna want to mess with the beer guy? It's like, hey,
well, that's so. I was Mr. Kramer. Anytime I was down there, and if I had out of code beer, and somebody was like mulling around the car, you just throw some out of code beer at them. They were happy,
That's pretty awesome. But yeah, for like flying fish, like I don't know. I don't even remember when you say like, that. What 2018? You said you guys got a canning line.
Yeah,
like, I feel like before that, like I just always remember someone having flying fish at like a summer barbecue or like a.
I used to get hopfish at restaurants all the time. Mm-hmm. Like if that was on the menu, I would get hopfish IPA.
I always remember like XPU being like.
XPA, yeah. So like XPA, Hopfish, and Farmhouse were probably the most dominant brands that you would see out in the world. Some people have an affinity for like Exit 4, which was an American triple, but yeah, I mean those brands. The only one that still exists is Hopfish, and that's changed a decent amount. But like if you think about it, Hopfish is a more English style IPA. It's really approachable, but it's like more akin to like a Sierra-ish, it's not exactly
like an American IPA. Almost.
Yeah, but like old school American IPA, like a 60-minute IPA,
like the BJCP style, like American IPA.
Right. It's just total old school, focused on balance kind of vibe.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for your guys' brand, I feel like you guys are you're a cooler beer. Like I always see flying fish in coolers at like a party. It's not like you guys aren't like a beer share kind of. I mean, you can get into that.
we're not
with, like-
whales. I mean, fried ice cream might get to that
Yeah.
realm. You know, we got a little bit. That's like as close to Mad Elf as we get, and Mad Elf's not like a bottle share thing, but you
Not
know.
anymore.
Not anymore. That used to be the big bottle share
Yeah.
item kind of thing. And then, that kind of fell off. But yeah, I mean, you guys kind of hinted at the marketing here when you guys started getting the cans of like a 12-ounce hazy for like breweries like you guys, and we've had Sly Fox and Victory on over here in Pennsylvania, is having these like super crushable 12-ounce IPA, like hazy IPAs that have like the word kind of haze or hazy in the name, because people are trying to get into that market, because trying to make it more approachable for the casual craft beer drinker as well as the craft beer nerd.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what Hazy Bones is just light, easy drinking, hazy beer. It's not anything like groundbreaking. It's right what people would expect if they saw the moniker hazy on a brand. It is not a hazy double IPA or a triple. It's not a new trail. It's not any of that stuff. It's more, sometimes like I feel like our brand is a little bit more pedestrian when it comes to 12-ounce six packs, and in terms of like approachability. But if you also look at our price point, we denote that more Sam Adams, Sierra, New Belgium style drinker. It's not until you get into the 4-pack 16-ounce cans that we really start to attract a different type of audience. Like it's like there's two different types of drinkers of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, no.
And it's cool that you guys kind of cater to like more audiences than just kind of, like you said, these people who kind of like, they almost pigeonhole themselves into these like, 4 or 5 different IPAs that they have to do.
Hey, listen, it's all a business, so you should do what you need, but
Yeah, I mean, what was our intro to Flying Fish? Was we did that episode with the
Salt and Sea
variety pack, where we went through, we featured all 3 flavors in there.
Yeah.
We didn't do a summer series this year.
Yeah, we didn't do a Summer Crusher series.
No, we did like a Summer Crusher series.
I think we hit our like point in our like beer drinking where everything was a crusher, unless it was like 10%. It was like, 8% super crushable.
Yeah, that definitely happens. There's like a natural progression though to a drinker. I think it's changed in terms of some of the stylistically, but when I first started drinking, it was you either went for big alcohol, so like Belgian style stuff, or you went for big IPAs, and then from there you would eventually evolve into a bourbon barrel aged drinker and appreciator of like big imperial stouts. And then you would, if you really became a degen, it was weird Belgian sours and Flemish stuff. Like then after that, you would be like, dude, I just want to drink a beer that tastes like a beer. And then you're like drinking weird pilsners and stuff.
Yeah, the beer flavored beer revolution.
Right. And now it's like, I guess the first entry to beer is probably the haze stuff. And then after that is probably pastry stout or session sours. And then
clear
beer knows where you go from there.
Yeah.
Clear beer.
I say clear beer this year, 2021 has seen a surge in people appreciating lagers and pilsners a lot more. I think because people were getting burned out over the pandemic with the hazies. So
yeah, I think I will tell you though, it is extremely challenging for anybody to make a lager effectively and to market it appropriately. You have to really be smart in the way you language it. It's so silly. But like you could make a banging pilsner, but you should probably never call it a pilsner.
You have to be really good at it. Like Human Robot, they'll call it a pilsner, but they're gonna put some real good artisanal name in front of it. And that's
it's almost like a misnomer and should be hidden on there. Like people want to know that it's like a good, crisp drinking ale. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's like,
Human Robot,
it just happens to be a pilsner.
Well, Human Robot kind of like made their name by just being like, we make the best lagers and pilsners. And everyone was like, whoa, well, if I go there, I got to drink the lagers and pilsners.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we offer hazies.
Yeah. and you have them and you're like, well, these are pretty good too. And it's, they put these labels on them that attract people to lagers and pilsners because it looks like an old 1930s like oil can or something. It just looks
like I'm looking at it. I'm looking at them right now because I've never drank their stuff, but this stuff looks like Polish, Czech, and Granddad beer, which has a huge retro appeal. And the thing is, like, those beers are awesome. Like, those beer styles are so good and they're so appreciable. Like, and that's also why you see so many mass domestics or even mass imports are those styles, because they're just really easy to drink. And but I think for some reason, like, people think, okay, because I can go and buy a Heineken or a Modelo or a whatever,
why do I have to get a craft version of it?
Yeah, why do I have to spend $13.99 on a 6-pack when I can spend $9.99 on a 6-pack?
But on the flip side, you have people like when I have people that are like, oh no, I don't drink craft beer. I'm like, well, you would if you didn't just associate craft beer with like hoppy beer. You can have a craft pilsner and you'll enjoy it because that's what you like.
Well, I think there was like a weird entry point that people felt like people were snobby, like, and that's gone away. But there was a period where I would work Beer Fest and people would ask me how many IBUs were in something, and I just wanted to like punch them in the throat.
How about
like, dude, it doesn't like. Why don't you
now and you tell me?
Yeah, it really. Honestly, I was at a beer dinner that Garrett Oliver, who is the head brewer over at Brooklyn Brewing, and he actually made the dinner. Awesome dude.
Yeah, Tom's the president of the Garrett Oliver fan club. He's the president and only member of the Garrett Oliver fan club over there.
That's not true. I would be the secondary member of that.
It's my life's work to get Garrett Oliver and Brian O'Reilly. Those are the two I want on the podcast. It's like,
so Garrett's pretty approachable, but he has just such a wicked schedule. It'd be really tough to pin him down. But
I would assume, since he's left us on red for, I don't know, a year and a half.
Yeah, Tom's been drunkenly sliding into his DMs all the time.
So I've drunkenly slid into his real life many a times at like Beer Fest and places. I actually, at one point, I saw him at Savor, and he remembered me because I did Brooklyn Beer School a couple of times. And at the end, he makes this meal for everybody, and talks and works through the food. And he has all these sous chefs working for him and everything. But we were chugging Black Ops bottle 750s, him and I, at the end of this thing. And I go, what's your most annoying thing? He goes, when somebody asks me what the IBUs, I just literally want to just drown them. And you're like, like, dude, you're amazing. But he has that like quintessential like flat brim straw hat, right? Mm-hmm. Amazing, like iconoclastic look for him. Well, I was down in Savor and I saw him at his booth and I said, hey, he goes, oh, I remember that was a great beer dinner. Well, then I, having too many casuals, and it's now like 10:30 and there's a Brooklyn event, and I wasn't going there. I was going a different direction, but I see Garrett and he's like alone on the street walking to this Brooklyn event. So naturally, I'm going to scream Garrett Oliver as loud as I can. Now, imagine you're on the streets of DC and some drunken clown is screaming at you and you're alone. You're probably going to just bolt. And that's exactly what he did. He just jammed.
I feel like this is how Tom would approach Garrett Oliver if he saw him.
Yeah.
Garrett Oliver!
Dude, no, I would go full Chris Farley show. I'd be like, do you remember that time you guys made Black Ops in 2017?
That was awesome.
That was
awesome. I mean, there's so much nostalgia with that history of that brewery and some of their beers and brands. Like Sriracha Ace was like one of my first fall in love saisons. I just love the Brewmaster's Table as a book. I mean, it's just, yeah, he's awesome.
We have. You can't see it on.
You can see it on my screen though.
Yeah, I see the tentacle.
Yeah, right there.
We got it right there. Actually, my first beer tour was actually with Tom. We went to Brooklyn Brewery long time ago.
Yeah.
Many moons. So, God, actually, was my only until like a few, like a year or two ago. I went to like Yingling with like with my family. That was like the last.
That's a cool brewery too, because they have the lagering caves downstairs. That's like
caves are so cool. Yeah, it's awesome to just walk around in there.
Yeah, because like a brewery for the most part is a bunch of stainless and some drains. It's pretty boring and they're all the same. You know, it's not really that.
Felt like an old timey coal miner down there. I was just like,
That is, it's just a very different experience. And
for people who haven't done brewery tours, for the most part, if you've done one, you've done them all.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah,
Brooklyn's is very. I would say it's very different too. Like they tell a nice story, and the one thing that always stuck out to me was like at the end of it, the guy talking about how they had some help from some local businesses, some interested investors who are in their beer, and then they point to like their security that's all wearing like Adidas tracksuits, white t-shirts, and gold chains, and I'm just like, hey, what's up, interested investors?
Yeah, well, it's really, they have such a unique history to how they got started, why they got started, because yeah, it's just really unique. They're a very unique brand.
I mean,
one of the cool.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the coolest things I ever got to see there was I got to meet Monster, and if you don't know who Monster is, Monster was a cat, and he was the very first brewery cat at Brooklyn, and they called him Monster because the first day that he wandered in, he killed like 8 or 9 mice. So they were like, dude, this cat is a monster. It just like destroyed, like literally ripped apart all these mice and like just like laid them out for the brewers to see. And Monster ended up getting its own beer. That was their 10% barley wine. And they did it all the years until Monster passed away. So when Monster died, they retired the beer and they stopped making the barley wine. Oh, I lose you. Did I lose you guys? What happened?
Oh, back in. Hold on, let me mute this.
I got you.
You got me muted. Yep. Awesome.
All right.
We're back.
What happened? What did I do?
You went to full screen.
I did go full screen. Never go full screen.
All right. I'm trying to open a PDF right now, guys. Hold on.
All right, hold on. All right, we're back. All right, we're back recording. Everything's good. Nothing ever happened. We poked the bear. I told Dan we poked the bear. We talked about.
I saw the passing thunderstorm, and I went, "Yeah, I bet Tom's internet goes out." Yeah. Because there's like a light breeze. Like I check before I come here to see if like the miles per hour are going to increase in a light breeze because your internet just goes out if a stick falls on it.
Well, what are you, Elon Musk, and you have like Skynet or whatever?
Yeah. All my shit comes from satellites.
It's crazy.
Really?
It's a satellite cluster up in the stratosphere.
I can't wear my keys.
Him and Grimes are getting divorced, and all the internet is just all kind of screwed up.
I can't wear my keys in here because if it's too much metal, it takes out the internet.
I like when they said that she's his SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX's. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh man. Yeah. Man, I was telling Dan, this is like the second time that's gone out since I updated. I updated my internet strictly for this because we kept getting cut out, and it hasn't happened until now.
It was a talk that had to happen out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Who do you have?
Strike
Fios
down.
something?
Internet. Yeah, I have internet.
I have internet.
Yeah. What are you on Prodigy? What are you on CompuServe? What you got over there?
Service Electric.
What do I have? Internet?
I have internet?
Xfinity.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, that was great. I have internet.
Good. Who's your internet
apparently you don't have internet.
Yeah, sparsely.
Sparsely.
Yeah. But yeah, back to our love letter to Garrett Oliver. It's such iconic beers, you know. Like you said, Sriracha Ace, Brooklyn Lager was just such like that was like a mainstay in Dan and I's fridge when we were living together.
Yeah, that and the bottle of Black Ops that just sat in the back, and we didn't touch for. Oh man.
Well, so we had it was funny that you mentioned Black Ops because that was like one of the first beers. We had a buddy that was he ran like the beer section at Wegmans, and you know he messaged us one day and he's like, hey, we just got a shipment in of Black Ops. I'm gonna set some aside for you.
So I ran from the produce section because that's where I worked when I was in college, and just went over there and I was like, I'm putting this, I gotta put this in my car right now. Or I put it in my lunch bag. I remember I just took my lunch bag out and I was like, throw it in there and paid for it. I was like, we're good. Yeah. He gave us a couple glasses too, because I guess the rep came there and dropped it off too.
So I think I've told the story on the podcast before.
We've told the story 1,000 times, but hey, if you're a first time listener,
I got Black Ops, right? And I put it, I was living with my parents at the time. Put it in the fridge, put it in the back. I was like, it's going to sit there for at least a year. Put it in the fridge.
This is the best story.
Subsequently moved to Brooklyn. The irony is palpable in this story. I moved to Brooklyn. I came home for
Christmas.
For Christmas and New Year's.
Yep.
And we were going to have a New Year's party. And I was like, what better time to bust out this beer that's just been aging? So I go in my parents' fridge and I'm looking and I'm like, hey, you know, do you guys remember seeing a beer in here? And my dad was like, yeah, there was one in the back. And I was like, where is it? And he's like, oh, I drank it. It was all right. And I was like, what? Why?
What year was this? This had to be like 2010?
It had to be 2011, 2012.
2011, 2012, yeah.
So got that. Then we went on the brewery tour when I was living up there, and I told that story to the guy who was giving the tour, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't talk about Black Ops. We don't tell when it's going out, how much is going out, whatever.
Yeah,
that beer doesn't exist." And then just happened. We were at Bistro and Bridge in Phoenixville.
Yeah.
And we were like sitting at the bar and we looked behind in the fridge and we were like, is that Black Ops? And they just had this bar in, I don't know if you're familiar with Phoenixville at all, but
it's a bigger bar now, but back in the day it was kind of a hole in the wall. So like a hole in the wall bar with like a little craft beer like fridge in the back. And it was just sitting there.
Nobody drank out of.
Like, how much is it? I don't know. How much you want to pay for it?
Yeah, there was a fridge, and they just had a line of Black Ops bottles. And I was like, can I have two? And he was like, $40. I was like, yes, please. And we drank one immediately.
Yeah.
And then we aged one for a year. It was something like a year. We went out like our last day in our apartment when we were cleaning out.
Yeah, I think it had to be like it was 12 months around 12 months on the dot.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, Brooklyn's so like, they're so influential. And
I would say, one of the most influential craft breweries in our history of craft beer.
Yeah.
But I bet a lot of people on the East Coast would say that as well.
Yeah. Yo, Garrett Oliver, come on the podcast and talk to us.
Yo, Kirk, get Garrett Oliver on our podcast.
I can't. I scared him away in DC. He'll never come back to me.
I know. I yelled at him. He won't talk to me anymore.
I yelled at him. It was more of like a love language, but we weren't speaking the same one. So
Garrett, Garrett.
yeah, it was like I know him, and everybody's like, "You're an idiot."
Oh,
He's just a little straw hat, just picking up pace, walking. Just picks up.
He looked so scared. I remember my boss at the time. He looked at me and he goes, "Stop scaring him."
Stop scaring Garrett
I
off.
go, dude, but I love him. It's not
Garrett! Head retention.
That's where Tom got head retention and lacing from, was a instructional video from Garrett Oliver.
And I look at the bubbles on the head.
Yeah,
dude,
the bubbles.
He's tremendous. Tremendous. Yeah. He got me drinking Saison DuPont, which is one of the greatest beers on the planet.
Episode name. I just got one. I'll send it
to you. All right. Now I'm not guessing. All right. Before we wrap up, what's in store for Flying Fish?
Peanut butter fried ice cream is our next newest release. So we're gonna do a 50 barrel batch. So we did last year. We scaled up fried ice cream because people just wanted it so much, and we still sold out of it really, really quick. So we make about 200 barrels now. When it first started out, it was 50. Then it went to 100. Now it's at 200 barrels.
Sitting in my fridge.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, peanut butter fried ice cream stout, that will be only around for a 50 barrel batch, which means that probably every area will get 30 to 150 cases. So it'll be one of those annoying ones, but it'll be good and exciting. I honestly, to the end of the year, we don't really have like a crazy amount because we were going through a transition period with a new president was getting onboarded. It actually is the guy who is running sales over at Yards. So we have a new president. His name's Frank Rio, and we have a rotating IPA 4-pack series, 16-ounce cans coming next year. We're going to have a double IPA 6-pack 12-ounce coming out next year. And then probably another 12 different releases of like new stuff, and then some more core. So it's like Flying Fish has changed a lot in 2018 and 2019, but 2022 is going to be wild. It's awesome.
Keep making Get to the Hoppa. I'm just gonna say that.
Can I share pictures in here or no?
I think you can. There should be a share option at the bottom.
Yeah, I do have a share option on here. I'm just gonna see if I can do.
And you can do like windows if there's like a specific window you have open on your computer.
I love
Windows.
I love that. Frank Rio worked with Tom Kehoe.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tom Kehoe, and this is Frank Rio. The Kehoe and Rio.
It's true. All right, let me pull this picture up. I'll give you guys first look.
That's just a city block.
It's a city block, yeah.
Literally a city block.
Yards Township.
Do you remember our trip to Yards, Dan?
I do. We had
All right, oh, hang on.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
So that's going to be the label for the peanut butter one. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, new, cool hotness. We took something that already was great and then trying to make it better.
Going to use that 2018 Galaxy to get that peanut butter flavor.
I think it'll be
everybody hated it.
Peanut butter.
I'm so glad we have Kirk's email now because I'm just going to be badgering you. Is it out? Is it out? Is it out?
Oh yeah, dude.
I was gonna say
we have friends that live right next to the brewery.
Yeah, we're just gonna
as soon as that pops out, I'm like, yo, go over and get some.
Yeah, we used to do like releases at the actual brewery for our limited ones, and you would sign up online and reserve a 4-pack. I feel like that should come back for something like this.
Exclusivity should come back now that like things are opening up. I think bring back the bring back the ticket, bring back the lines.
I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree.
There was no line and there was no ticket. It was like just basically you would reserve however many you wanted to buy, and then you could come in over that weekend and buy them whenever you want.
Yeah,
Crash
the
no
server.
line.
I'm buying this many so I can resell this many online.
Crash the server. Kill Square site.
Well, it's the.
I'll find out when this is released from Kirk, because I have a client that is right next to the brewery, and I will conveniently have a meeting that day.
It'll probably be the first or second week of November.
Ooh.
Oh,
All
nice.
right, I'm setting up the meeting as we speak.
There you go.
Getting that Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else going on with you guys? Any
No
big releases?
No, I mean honestly, it's we're finishing up the end of the year, and
looking forward to 2022.
Should be it. Yeah. I mean, we're getting so close to. I don't know, man. Like, it's so in the beer world, everything is like 6 to 12 months ahead. So it's hard for me to even like talk about, because like I'm already thinking about 2023 and we haven't even started 2022.
All right, let's wrap up. Do you want to do a little bonus time?
I'm good right now. I think it's just finishing up the beer. I'll wrap up and do plugs, and then we'll head out.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
All right.
I got the brewery plugs all set up if we want to do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Since we got brewery plugs. I really like StreamYard because I can share stuff like this. Guys, thanks again for staying on the stream if you're still here. If you can see the screen right now. Guys, follow on Untapped here. It's Flying Fish Brewing Company. Check out their website. Wealth of information. It's really cool that you guys kind of list a lot of what's in all of your beers so people can kind of like check it out. But flyingfish.com is the website.
And that beers link, if you just scroll over beers, find us. That beer finder is connected to what we use in the beer world. It's called VIP, and it'll show where somebody has bought within the last 5 days.
That's like the MLS of craft beer right there.
That is correct.
I use that for Salton Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when we did that.
No, that was really helpful too, because we needed to get that for the episode. But yeah, flyingfish.com. Guys, social media, Facebook and Instagram, it's Flying Fish Brew. So we got at Flying Fish Brew. Instagram is at Flying Fish Brew. Go ahead and give them a follow. Check them out. We had a lot of fun with their beers. We've always had a lot of fun with their beers on this podcast.
Absolutely.
So again, Kirk, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast and everything. Do we have anything else to plug? Anything upcoming that we want to talk about? I know we're just like switching gears out of the, I guess, quote, festival season and getting back into the fall now.
I don't know, man. It's Marzen and
it's about to get season. It's about to get malty, guy.
Yeah. I don't think we have anything else going on. I mean, we're gonna have Tatter Flag on soon.
We're in talks with Tatter Flag. We got some other breweries that we have scheduled, guys. Just make sure you're giving us a follow. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same. It's Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD. Gotta love a good old POD drop. All right. Hey, send us an email if you are listening on the podcast, you want to be on the podcast, or you have an idea of a brewery that wants to be on the podcast. Our Gmail is the same. It's bestbestfriendspod@gmail.com. That's bestbestfriendspod. We are. Hell yeah.
You know, I more contact through email.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're transitioning from Instagram DMs, and now we're talking to breweries via email.
I know, it's so professional.
Everybody's like, yeah.
Finally, it's not like
contact through email. I'm like, okay.
Oh, it's great that we don't have people trying to build us a website from like India now on our email. So
Vishnu Nahanda.
We noticed your website is not performing.
What website? We can build your SEO. Sure. Whatever. You know what we did not talk about? Hey, I wanted to look up and find out, like, is there a Ghanaian rapper? Someone, we're huge in Ghana, apparently.
Yeah. Are they Ghanaian? Is that what they say their name? I'll look it up. But yeah, apparently we have a huge following in Ghana.
At one point, a couple weeks ago, we were the number one podcast in the food section in Ghana. Currently, we're number 8. We're number 8 in the country of Ghana.
Who'd you get knocked out by?
I don't know.
Give me one of them.
I'd love to know.
It's Ghanaians. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to know.
Yeah. I really apparently
it was actually the number 1 is Gone with the Wind, and they are a old school movie reviews.
I would agree with you, but that wouldn't be in the food section. We're in the food section.
Oh, in the food section. Sorry.
We're down in the arts section. In the arts section, we're in like the 90s. Oh
my god, it's real.
What?
It's Gone with the Wind real.
No, it's not.
No.
It's crafting with guano is I think probably number 1 in the food section. It can be made into bowls. You can eat it as a fruit paste. Folks, these are all Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, When Nature Calls references.
You saying guano?
Yeah, guano.
Sorry, I was too busy trying to figure out if Gone with the Wind was a real podcast because I was about to listen to it.
All right. Anyway,
Gone in 60 seconds.
Oh God!
All right, we don't have another hour to.
Ghana, if you're listening, this is gold right now.
We're writing these for you. We're doing all the work for you. All right, Ghana, we love you. Keep supporting the podcast. Twitch. If you're not on live stream, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube.
All the links are in our bio on Instagram and Facebook. So.
Yeah, hop on the Twitch, interact via chat.
Follow us.
Yeah, Scott Farkas is pretty much in the chat all the time. You can interact with him. Ask him how much lactose he's putting in his beers lately. Which, spoiler alert, it's a lot. It's like 90% lactose facility.
Most of what Warwick Farms does is sorry, Farkas Farms does.
Farkas Farms, Dan. Farkas Farms.
Sorry, Farkas Farms does is lactose beers.
Yeah. So hop on the streams there. Twitch is twitch.tv/bestbestfriendspodcast, twitch.tv/bestbestfriendspod.
I feel so alive for the very first time.
Cast. I think that wraps it up, Dan.
Wraps it up, man. Kirk, thank you so much again for coming on, man. This was a ton of fun.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
Dan, as always.
I know we're back in the studio.
You know how I feel about you, bud.
I love you. Always have.
Feels nice to be back in.
All right, everybody. Just remember, it's not goodbye forever. It's just
one more POD drop.
There's one that I skipped, and I skipped it on purpose.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Always remember, keep it in the back of your mind. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. That was the Clinton family. I repeat, Clinton family killed Jeffrey Epstein. All right, everybody.
This is why we don't get the big breweries.
Garrett Oliver.
This is why Garrett Oliver won't talk to us.
Yeah, he's friends with the Clinton family.
Stop making those rumors.
All right, everybody. Best Friends Podcast, episode 87.
We out.
See. All right.
And we are done streaming. Bye.